New York became the first state in the entire country to have a COVID vaccine passport. Basically, it's an app on your phone which has your information on it. However, states like Florida are saying that they will not even entertain the idea. And now let's talk a bit about passports. Not regular passports, but vaccine passports. There were some rumors going around over the last few days which said that the Biden administration was working to create some form of vaccination passport. And in order to set the record straight, 2 days ago the Biden administration came out and they clarified that while they themselves are not working to create COVID passports, they are providing guidance to private companies who are working to create vaccine passports or other such systems. In fact, here is what the White House press secretary said in a briefing. We believe it will be driven by the private sector. There is currently an interagency process that is looking at many of the questions around vaccine verification, and that issue will touch many agencies, as verification is an issue that will potentially touch many areas of society. That's guidance we'll provide. A determination or development of vaccine passport, or whatever you want to call it, will be driven by the private sector. Ours will be more focused on guidelines that can be used as a basis, and there are a couple of key principles that we are working from. Now, what exactly are those key principles that she's referring to? Well, Jen Psaki laid out at least 4 of them during that press conference. Let's go through them together. First of all, there will be no centralized universal database which tracks COVID vaccinations. Second of all, there will be no federal mandate which requires all Americans to obtain a single vaccine passport. Thirdly, there will be encouragement of an open marketplace with both companies and nonprofits developing the technology. And lastly, there will be an effort by the government to ensure that all passports meet key standards such as accessibility as well as affordability. And if all of this sounds far-fetched to you, well, it has already begun to be implemented. In fact, 5 days ago, New York became the first state in the country to have a vaccine passport app. It's called the Excelsior Pass, and state officials envision it being used at sports stadiums, arenas, weddings, as well as small businesses. Here is how Governor Andrew Cuomo described it. New Yorkers have proven they can follow public health guidance to beat back COVID. And the innovative Excelsior Pass is another tool in our new toolbox to fight the virus while allowing more sectors of the economy to reopen safely and keeping personal information secure. And typically the way it all works is that what happens in New York is a good indication as to what's to come for the rest of the country. And along that line, a general manager for IBM, which is the company that's behind developing this new app, he said this in a statement. By rolling out the tool, New York is modeling for the rest of the country how new technology-enabled approaches can help safely reinvigorate economies while also striving to protect public health. Now, these passports, they do not have universal appeal, not even within the Democratic Party itself. For instance, Naomi Wolf, who is a former advisor to Bill Clinton, she recently came out and she said that vaccine passports would be the end of human liberty in the West. During an interview with Fox News, here's what she said. Vaccine passport sounds like a fine thing if you don't understand what those platforms can do. I'm the CEO of a tech company. I understand what this platform does. It is not about the vaccine. It is not about the virus. It is about your data. Once this rolls out, you don't have a choice about being part of the system. During that interview, she went on to further warn that many other functionalities can be loaded onto this passport platform very easily. Things like merging it with your PayPal account or your digital currency. She even said that Microsoft is already talking about merging it with payment plans. Then she gave the example of what happened in Israel. And 6 months later, we're hearing from activists that it's a two-tiered society, and that basically activists are ostracized and surveilled continually. It is the end of civil society, and they are trying to roll it out around the world. It is absolutely so much more than a vaccine pass. It is, I cannot stress enough, that it has the power to turn off your life, or to turn on your life, or to let you engage in society or be marginalized. Furthermore, she even went one step further and extrapolated that these passports might evolve into something like what the Chinese Communist Party uses to surveil their populace, their use of a social credit score. Here's what she said. How does the Chinese Communist Party keep 1 billion people under the thumb of a totalitarian regime? The Chinese Communist Party can find any dissident within 5 minutes, and that can happen here literally within months. Now, some states here in America are just not having it. For instance, 2 days ago, down in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis, he announced that he will be taking executive action against the concept of Americans needing a vaccine passports to be able to travel either domestically or internationally. Here's what he said at a press conference. We're not supportive of that. I think it's something that people have certain freedoms and individual liberties to make decisions for themselves. It is completely unacceptable for either the government or the private sector to impose upon you the requirement that you show proof of vaccine to just simply be able to participate in normal society. Now, we here at the Epoch Times, we will be keeping our eyes glued to developments in all the states regarding these COVID vaccine passports, and we'll keep you abreast of any developments as they're coming out. And if you'd like to read more about the Biden administration's comments about the vaccine passport being developed over in New York, or about the pushback that these passports are experiencing across the board, those links will be in the description box below this video for you to check out.